Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to be doing a Q&A. I had some very supportive family members comment some questions for me, and I don't have that many, but I think with these questions, like they're really good questions, I'm going to hit a lot of topics anyways. So I'll start with my sister Jen. She commented, ideally, how would you organize by author or genre or / topic? I think if I had a really big library or bookshelf, because right now, like, they're pretty small. If I had a big one, I for sure organize by genre / topic. So I like to keep like my series are together, my romances together, my thrillers together. And mainly why I do that is because I'm definitely a mood reader. And so if I walk up to my bookshelf and I'm in the mood for thrillers, I don't want to like have to think, wait, what author has thrillers, and then like look for it. I want to just go to a specific section and look at the thrillers that I have and pick from there. So that's why I would for sure do genre / topic. The next question she asked was, what is the best book you've read and why? When I was thinking about this, I couldn't pick just one because I have like a favorite in different genres. So I think I picked 4. So the first one I would pick is The Tattooist of Auschwitz. That one was such a great book, and it's not even that big of a book, but it just had so much in, like, I think it's like 300 pages or something. It just had so much in there. It has a love story. It has struggles, obviously, because it's about the Holocaust. It had, like, he's Jewish, but his job is almost like hurting his own people, and like there's really nothing he can do about it. So that's just such a great book. In that book, what was really interesting was that it didn't end when they're freed. Like, he still had to do more work, and then it still follows his journey into finding, I think her name was Rita. So that book was just amazing. I absolutely loved it, and I recommended it for a really long time after that. I think I got Liz to read that book, but yeah, that one's a really good book. And then in like my thriller section, I would pick The Silent Patient, and I'm sure no one is surprised by that. But that book is just, the plot twist got me so good. The main reason why I like The Silent Patient more though is because I feel like, say like in Gone Girl, you kind of don't know like where she's lying to and where she's telling you the truth kind of thing. Whereas The Silent Patient, they kind of just don't give you full details, but they don't lie to you about what's going on. The plot twist is just because, well, for me, the plot twist was because I assumed that the timeline was going, everything was happening at the same time. And then it's revealed to you that like the time, like parts of the story happened before and then parts of the story are happening in the present. That one, the plot twist got me so good. So that for sure is my top pick in the thriller section. In romance section, I would say, I think I would say It Ends With Us, just because it like kickstarted me into reading romance. That romance specifically just had so many conflicts. It didn't feel like a fluffy romance, obviously. If you've read the book, you know. But I think it opened my eyes to see like, yeah, romances aren't always just rainbows and butterflies. Like, they're written in different ways. So that one for sure kickstarted me into like wanting to read more romances. So that's for sure my topic for my romance section. And then obviously for my fantasy section, I would pick A Court of Thorns and Roses. I haven't read all of Harry Potter, but A Court of Thorns and Roses is just so good. Maybe it's also because it's a new experience, because I'm not gonna say that Harry Potter is bad. Harry Potter is freaking amazing. Jen, don't come at me, because I'm saying Harry Potter's amazing. But A Court of Thorns and Roses is just like such a new experience because I've never read it. I have no spoilers on it. It's just so good. I'm barely on the second one, and I'm just so hooked in the books that for sure would pick A Court of Thorns and Roses. The next question she asked was, what is the worst book you've read and why? The worst book I've read for sure is The Maidens. The ending was just so cringy. If you haven't read The Maidens, spoiler, but throughout the book, you know that the aunt lost her husband and she was very in love with him, and she's just like mourning that death, and it makes him out to seem like such a great guy, and she's very sad about him. She's also helping her niece that her school is having like a murderer on the loose, and in the end you find out that the niece is the murderer, I think, but then you also find out that the niece was having an affair with the husband. And so now this like image of the husband being this great guy is like, you were having an affair with this like super young girl. It was just way too cringy for me. Even the way that the niece like talks about the husband is just, it was just so cringy. I hated that book easily, I'll say that. So yes, that's the worst book I've ever read. Justine asked, how do you choose your books? Physically, I'm for sure someone that judges a book by its cover. I'm not saying that like I won't buy a book if it has an ugly cover, but like if it has a really cool cover or like a really pretty cover, it'll catch my interest to pick it up. And right off the bat, I grab a book. So like, let's say I grab a book and I right off the bat do this because I like to see the font and spacing. For sure, like that's not something that bothers me as much now if it's already been highly recommended. But if I'm just picking up a book that like I haven't heard of, I for sure flip through it first to look at font size and spacing. If I don't like that, I'll be really honest, I put it back. If I don't mind it or I do like it, I read the back. And if the back is interesting to me, then it goes in my cart. So then Christina asks, how do you determine if a book has a good storyline? So for sure, I would say when I'm reading a book, I want to understand what I'm reading. So whether that be the world is described really well, or past details that help you understand what's currently going on is explained really well. The writing not being confusing about what's going on in the present. Like, I think a good example would be like Never Let Me Go, where I'm reading it, but I almost had like no idea what was going on in the book. So for sure, being able to understand what you're reading and it not being like throwing a bunch of random characters in, throwing a bunch of subplots in. Like if they're gonna throw in a character, seeing how it connects. If they're gonna throw in a subplot, seeing how it connects with the main story and not just having like a bunch of distractors that are very confusing. So for sure, understanding what you're reading. And then second, I would say like the element of surprise. So I'm cool with reading a book. I get what's going on. And so I have like a couple ideas of where the story can go. But I don't want to predict the whole book. So like I don't want to be reading a book and then off some like details I can guess the whole book. So like having that element of surprise where yeah, I have some ideas of where it can go, but it's still unique writing enough that I didn't guess it fully, you know? So that for sure is how I determine a good storyline. And then the next question she asks is, what types of books do you go for? Currently, I really like romances. I enjoy thrillers, and I'm starting to like fantasy. So I don't really like manga. Memoirs, I've noticed, are really not my thing. Like it's just really hard for me to get through them. And then even amongst those, like I'm like romances, like I mentioned, I don't like for it to just seem like two perfectly fine people are gonna meet and they're gonna fall in love and you're just gonna follow their journey of falling in love. Like that's just like a fluffy romance to me. I like for there to be some type of conflict going on. In thrillers, like I mentioned, I like to read the back of the book and it not seem very predictable. And then Natalie asked, what key things make you want to pick up a book? I'll answer this one more of like, I'm going to Barnes & Noble and I know I'm going to pick that book up kind of thing. Like I'm not looking at the font. But as for like, say, watching YouTube videos and seeing what people are recommending, how I pick from those that like I'll want to pick up, I'll want to go to Barnes & Noble and pick them up. For sure, if the person that's recommending books kind of has like the same style of reading as I do. So say like I really hate The Maidens. I'm probably not gonna pick up a book that someone who loves The Maidens recommends, just because I feel like we probably have different styles. Another one is like Instagram. Some people on Instagram will post like mood boards, I think they are, or like they put together videos, put together clips of pictures or videos that remind them of a book, so where like it catches your attention to want to be like, it kind of gives you like an image of what the world would look like of the book. Those are some cool recommendations. So yeah, I think this video was a little bit all over the place. I was like kind of rambling in some parts, but hopefully everything makes sense. I'll try to edit it in the best way possible so that everything really makes sense and answers the question. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Comment down below your answers to any of these questions. And I hope you guys liked the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.